So in this function, this is where you end up after watching the video. Hopefully you realized watching the video that whatever they refer to as delta x is actually your h in your formula. And now in part B, they're asking us to make a substitution. And they're asking us to substitute h equals x over m. So if we rearrange that equation a little bit, we can solve for x, and that would be equal to mh. And I think that's the only things that we need to solve for there. So what we would do then for part B is we would take this equation and we would replace the h with x over m and the x with m over h, or m times h, and the 1 over h would become 1 over the x over m. And I know that looks a little confusing, but we're going to clean it up a little bit, okay? So maybe just as a little bit of an aside over here, if I have x over m and I'm dividing by mh, then that's the same as multiplying by 1 over mh. Sorry, I don't want to change this one here. Oh, and I can't erase it now. Let's go back for a minute here and just scribble it out then. Let's just leave that as the h. I see now what we're doing. If we leave that as the h, then we can just cross those guys out, and we just end up with 1 over m there, right? And so if we tidy this up a little bit, and we end up here with 1 of 1 plus 1 over m, then now we have a match there. And if we're having a look over at our exponent, we have 1 over x over m now, and they want us to be able to write that as m times 1 over x, and that's really what it is. If we have 1 over x over m, then we have 1 times m over x, and so that's where that comes from. If I just rearrange this a little bit, I could write it as 1 over x times m. It all means the same thing. And so that's why they have it to the m, and then they put a square bracket around it and put it to the 1 over x. You could also write it as just m over x if you wanted to. So that gets you to the end of part B. Part C is interesting. I'm going to make you another video on that because I have to go to class in a minute. But part C is interesting because I don't see the function h of m defined anywhere, so I'm not sure what they're getting at there. I think, just looking at it real quick, if it's g at h of m, and then they're able to put the g outside, usually that's for a coefficient, but they're describing g as a function, and I'm not sure exactly what they're getting at. So I'll have to take a little bit more time on that one and get back to you on that one and part D, okay?